Don't do it, ADA. Don't you dare. Don't you dare do this to us on this daily chart. This is ADA on the daily. We're going to break down what's going on. We're actually going to really try to translate what's going on as it applies to the weekly, the long term, what we're trying to track as we shift through these cycles. Before we dive into the ADA charts, big news today. Cardano stablecoin DJED, powered by Coti, is scheduled to launch next week. There has been so much speculation. There has been so much hype about DJED finally coming to Cardano via Coti. And I kind of just wanted to step back in covering it. I didn't want to add to the speculation. I didn't want to start guessing when it's going to happen. I just wanted to simply wait and see when it's actually going to happen. And the news was announced today. We started the chain index syncing process. This process may take 14 days. And as we started the sync a week ago, we expect to complete it next week and be ready to launch. And here's an article. I'll put it in the link below, and it kind of goes over what I just read and also just alludes to some other things. Like this was announced today, BitTrue. DJED Shen exclusive dual listing coming to BitTrue spot trading. BitTrue will be the first exchange to list DJED and Shen Coti network. So BitTrue, as many of you know, has kind of done this before in terms of stepping in and allowing this on-ramp for Cardano projects. And so BitTrue, special shout out to them once again doing that. And Wing Riders also announcing some news. Something big is coming. Wing Riders and Coti network announcement soon. MinSwap also, I would say most recently. ADA DJED, ADA Shen coming next week on the MinSwap DEX. So big stuff right now. I'll put a link below. It's big news, I would say. It's a big deal, especially as we do go through these cycles. And we see a lot of the dialogue going on about stablecoins, in particular algorithmic stablecoins. Once this is live, they launch, it's going to be very interesting to see this narrative pick up, maybe even outside Cardano community. And it's going to be very interesting to see what kind of legs this gets and what kind of success Coti has with DJED. So really big news today. Wanted to cover it. Here's Cardano, ADA on the weekly. I want to just start with this. The move that has happened, which is really this last weekly candle, this green candle, that's a big deal. To me, it's a huge deal. It's a huge pivot point in this bear market. And we zoom out on the Bitcoin charts all the time. This is Bitcoin on the weekly. This move that you see here on the weekly chart, a strong move. Even more separation from Bitcoin's 20-week moving average. This is a pivot point. I discussed in a video earlier today for Bitcoin, even if Bitcoin crashes back down, what has happened is truly special and meaningful in the long term. If you're a long-term macro person, this is just the way I see things, but I think it's a big, important deal. Same is true on the weekly. This is a pivot point happening right now. But I want to dig in for a moment on the daily chart and just look at this because we want more separation. We want just even another leg up because right now ADA is still at this midterm lower high area. And what that is the previous swing high back here in November to the swing low that we had. And you can just see ADA has kind of come back up to this Fibonacci retracement, this resistance area, and it failed to break above. You can just see amazing resistance at the 618 down, comes back into the actual channel and then down. And right now, ADA on the daily chart. And we're going to look at a crazy momentum oscillator just right now, just coming back down, which is fine, just above the 20-day moving average. And right now, in the very short term, putting in a higher low so far, the best possible case would be ADA see support at the 20-day. But I can't say this enough. What are equity markets going to do tomorrow? How are they going to open tomorrow? If there's volatility specifically to the downside, probably not going to be good for Cardano, crypto in general, and ADA might actually break back below this 20-day moving average, which again, that's okay because remember, we know that just coming back down and testing these moving averages, even the 50-day moving average, it's right around 30 cents. It's okay. We want to see it eventually happen, but it would just be really nice if we can get through this barrier on the short term, this Fibonacci, and get a little bit of separation from that. Because if that happens, if we go over here on the weekly chart, then we're getting separation once again from that 20-week moving average. That's that pivot point. We want to see ADA start really trading above that area. Not a quick little 1 week close that we just saw above the area and then back down, right? We don't want to just see one quick candle close, back down, and this could lead to ultimately sideways trading and exiting the bear market, but we really just want a pop of separation above that area. We go to the daily chart, and here's the biggest concern that I have right now. Go to the momentum oscillator. What's happening? We have just this lower high on this RSI, slower moving momentum oscillator. It's just a lower high happening, a lower high in momentum as ADA has put in a higher high on the actual price. That's bearish divergence from a momentum perspective. And so the reason why that's concerning is just because from a technical analysis perspective, it's always something that should just kind of bring in the alert signals. But number two, if you zoom out, the last time ADA really made a move so similar, like almost identical looking on the RSI chart, if we zoom out, was all the way back here. This just got overbought, came back down, and then just had another lower high, right, on the momentum oscillator. Let's look at what was happening on the price chart. So there's some bearish divergence because on the price chart, if we look at that time, it was ADA basically hitting all-time high. It was the top of the bull market. It was the top before ADA really just tanked, right? And so we're getting a very similar signal here on this RSI. Now, I underline everything that I just said with this extremely important note. If we go to a weekly chart, I zoom out and I open up our momentum oscillators. Those two areas that we just covered on the daily, here it is on the weekly, those two areas, just like night and day, completely different areas, completely different parts of the cycle. Because this weekly RSI down here is bullish looking. The weekly RSI back here, extremely bearish looking. One of my biggest regrets, I think, in covering ADA from a technical analysis perspective was I did not talk enough about this bearish divergence that was happening on the weekly chart. This was a swing high in February, a lower high in May 2021, and then another lower high. This was the top of the bull market for ADA. That is some big macro bearish divergence. And that's what was happening at that time. Now, on the flip side, that was ADA being overvalued, overbought at the time. Now, ADA coming out of the most oversold and undervalued it's ever been on this chart. And this is happening, right? So it's already just most previously from a bullish perspective been breaking this trend of lower highs that we talked about on the RSI. There's a bullish sentiment in the air in crypto and also in Cardano. And there's a bullish sentiment in this chart, which is to say the momentum is shifting and it's shifting out of this oversold area. And you can see it now. So we're getting consolidation, which is fine in the RSI. It's just a question on the weekly, how low is that going to go? And back to the daily chart, what does it mean for ADA kind of on this midterm, short to midterm chart as it does hit this lower high resistance that we've been talking about? And once again, lower high resistance being the swing high back here to the swing low back to a Fibonacci lower high resistance area. We've been anticipating the whole move, and ADA is there. Confluent with this 786 line, once again, at right around the 39 to 40 cent area is a 200-day moving average. Still not broken. This could be a game changer for ADA because this entire bear market, it's an area ADA has not broken above. It's something we're waiting for. We got the weekly close above that 20-week moving average. Key move. I still think it's important. I would just really like to see ADA just, even right now on the 20-week move, on the weekly, the 20-week moving average, even support there would be great. But I just don't know with what equity markets are going to do tomorrow. Crypto might be down tomorrow. We have to wait and see. Crypto might be down tonight after I upload this video. This support is, ADA is there basically at that support area. The question is, how does this weekly candle close? Still 5 days left on the weekly. And I think really the most important chart right now to track is ADA on the daily. We know that there's room to the downside for support, and that's okay. But we want to see a higher low at this point of the game because we're looking once again for that macro shift. We do not want to see all the support fail, and we don't want to see another leg down, another low in this bear market. But we sit here. We don't know what's going to happen, but we anticipate all of these scenarios. We wait for support. We wait for support to break, and we just do our best in making our decisions for ourselves. We're all different. This is just how I see the charts, and I like to just hang out and visualize all of these scenarios so that I'm prepared either way. Let me know your thoughts, everybody. I hope you're doing well out there. Hit that subscribe, hit that like. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.